Hello, everybody. This is Georgianne Hughes, and this is the Byte Show. And we're really blessed to have Aaron Kaplan with us. He is an author and a researcher, and you can get his book, Deep Analysis, Frightening Conclusion, at the website by that name, deepanalysisfrighteningconclusion.com. And Aaron was born in Berlin, Germany, and raised in Israel. He has a huge background in aeronautics. And today, he's going to talk to us about Elenin. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Georgianne. How are you? I know that you and our listeners heard a lot about Elenin lately.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many stories, pro or con.
Yeah.
The very famous Coast to Coast radio show even had Richard Hoagland on.
Yes.
Twice, and he had some very, very interesting things to say.
Very provocative.
Yes, which I will mention tonight. But let me tell you something, okay? What I am going to have to say tonight is going to rock the bottom even of the Coast to Coast show, okay?
Okay.
Sometimes even the big scientists or the experts miss something, okay? I may not be correct. However, I will say what I've seen with my own eyes. I'm going to repeat. It's going to be a dandy.
Okay.
Georgianne. Again, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes or anything.
Yes.
But I have to mention in the air what I've seen with my own eyes.
Okay.
And if I wouldn't have seen it, I would zip my lips.
Oh, dear.
But I can't. I can't.
Okay.
So let's start this way. First, I want to set for the first few minutes some ground rules for this time period. Number one, Elenin originally was a very special comet. And like any other comet, it can only be seen when it reflects off its body the sunlight. In other words, if it cannot reflect sunlight, then you have to use the infrared spectrum.
Right.
Folks, you have to remember that. It's very important for real life and for this show, too. Very, very important. Now, some more ground rules. If you see our planets from above the ecliptic, they will rotate counterclockwise. So does the comet Elenin, which means one thing, folks. It is not the planet Nibiru, okay? It is not. Nibiru, however, from all ancient records, will approach us from the opposite clockwise direction. So some people try and tell you that Elenin is Nibiru. No, folks. It is definitely not. You also have to remember the comet is made of a nucleus, the rock, whatever it is, shaped like a potato, whatever, like a rock. And the comet goes through outer space at high speeds. The Elenin comet apparently travels through space around 20 to 30,000 miles per hour. It forms a coma, the leading edge of a wing of an aircraft with a body. Except it gets bright from friction. This coma is pretty large. And outside the coma, you have what's called a hydrogen corona. It's a magnetic energy field. All right? So this is basically what you have to know just for the beginning. Now let me go on. The projection of the orbit of Elenin by JPL are very highly estimated. And I actually found out that they contain an error. The way I found out, I'm not an astronomer, but I followed very, very carefully many astronomy sites on the internet. And I researched many of them for the last 2 weeks. I was up many nights. Okay. it seems that NASA, either by accident or by coincidence or on purpose, they did not allow for the increased speed in the sun's gravitational pull or pull back while going around the sun. In other words, when a comet Elenin entered our galaxy, the center of our galaxy is the sun. When it goes around the sun among our planets, it tries to escape. It will pick up speed around the sun. But at the same time, the sun will also pull back towards it. And if you look at the internet, roll the graph and sketches, something is wrong. They are based on a constant speed of around 28,000 miles per hour. That's deadly wrong. Now, again, why does it do that? And what does it really know? Does it know that the speed is constant because it's something else other than a comet? Or what? Now, our solar system arrives at galactic plane of our galaxy roughly every 26,500 years. And according to all records, some major catalysm always occur at that time. That I've discussed before. Now, for some reason or another again, we are missing data by NASA. It seems all the data we have are from amateurs so far. An amateur spotted it, and an amateur said it's gone. But from NASA, nothing. No one official said it's gone. And basically what we have, is a world media blackout. Except what you see in TV once in a while, a joke. Here, where's the Elenin? It's gone. It's not here. It's gone. It's nothing. That's fine. Maybe it is nothing. So now, is it Elenin itself? Is it really a rock that broke apart? Or what's really behind it? Okay. Let me give you a little hint. From now on, when I start my program, think about one thing. There was a movie made a long time ago called 2010 Space Odyssey 2. That movie followed, the original 2001 Space Odyssey, which was written by Arthur C. Clarke. Now, folks, I wish to know what he really knew, this guy. Because it seems to be that the movie 2010 Space Odyssey 2 is almost a duplicate of what's going on now with comet Elenin. You're going to find out very soon why. Very, very soon. Now, there is another so-called, not a comet, a star. It's a carbon star that follows Elenin. Not in the same orbit, not in the same path. When I say follows, I mean by time-wise. It's roughly 1 month behind Elenin. Right now, what I read, what I investigated, it's approximately 350 light years away from us. And it's traveling at awesome speeds. Its code name is CW Leonis. It's LEONIS 10216. Or should I say IRC 10216. And it's a carbon star. It can be seen on Google Earth, not on Google Sky. I don't know why. It contains water. NASA actually picked it up with their IRS satellites back in 1983. It does contain water. It is a red giant star, or you can call it a red dwarf. The new explanation for the water is that high energy ultraviolet light from nearby hot stars is penetrating the atmosphere of that carbon star. and breaking apart the carbon monoxide molecules. Breaking these molecules apart would release oxygen that would react with the abundant hydrogen to form water. If you remember, folks, many times I've mentioned that Nibiru, from all legends, Sumerian tablets, Gilgamesh said that Nibiru contains roughly 98% hydrogen. It's exactly the content of hydrogen of this carbon star. So, I'm going to stop right now. Just to clear the air, folks. Elenin is not Nibiru, but it's following roughly a month down the road. Now we'll get down to some real beef, Georgian, with what's going on with Elenin.
Okay.
It's a fantastic story. Again, an amateur photographer, astronomer, discovered Elenin. His name is Leonid Elenin. He's from Russia. He's about 30 years old, and he's a very accomplished astronomer. The coordinate that was given to comet Elenin is C/2010X1. It was discovered by him roughly on December 10th, when he used his outdoor 18-inch telescope. He saw something. He contacted the Russian government, and they gave him permission to contact the U.S. This comet, folks, was officially discovered, realistically, by eyeballing it in the Soviet Union. However, the rest of the comet was discovered in New Mexico. What Leonid Elenin did is he acquired 4 minutes long images remotely, by remote control, from the Soviet Union through an observatory in New Mexico. Okay? So an American observatory called the International Scientific Optical Networks Robotic Observatory. That's where officially he discovered Elenin. Officially. And the initial pictures were taken, they were shown worldwide. Fine. That's the discovery. But again, those pictures were taken using infrared spectrum. Remember, folks, what I said before. The supergiant telescopes are very professional. They're also radio telescopes. They're very professional. Now, for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, we're here for another amateur, astronomer. His name is Michael Matiazo from Australia. And what does he say? It's gone. Elenin broke apart. Now remember, for each instant, the discovery and the destruction, we never heard from professional. Not even NASA. Why? So this amateur, Michael Matiazo, has been taking many images. Okay? And I noticed very carefully, even if you folks, if you go to the internet, you look at his images, he always has a disclaimer. One disclaimer says that he's shown a picture of comets breaking up in 2003. Other picture is showing comets as a simulation. Nowhere is it saying or showing a picture of the actual breakup of the comet or it looks like now. This is very interesting. It's It's very, very interesting. I'll tell you why. He was taking pictures in Australia through an 11-inch telescope, okay? And he didn't say what type, just an 11-inch telescope. But that telescope did not have any infrared imager hookups or anything. Just a telescope. So let me tell you what's going on, folks. I emailed Michael Mattiazzo in Australia, and back on September 14th, 5:07 p.m. And he was what my email said. I thought that according to NASA, this comet Elenin would only be observed in the infrared spectrum. Also, how could anyone from Australia using an 11-inch telescope see the broken pieces of a comet 40 to 50 miles away? This sounds strange. Period. Okay? I received an answer from a company called Discus, D-I-S-Q-U-S. It's a very famous Russian organization that deals with the U.S. and the world. And they deal in news broadcasts, and lately CNN joined it and many other news broadcasts. And here's the answer I received from a fellow called Kevin Hyder in his club. Not from Michael, but supposedly one of the leaders of his club. And here's what it says. Kevin Hyder wrote in response to Aaron Kaplan, unregistered, that's me. Aaron, Michael Mattiazzo images through his Canon 300D and 300mm telephoto lens and C11 SCT and Starlight Express MX7C CCD imager are very real. Michael Mattiazzo is a highly respected amateur. I never doubted his credentials, folks. I just asked how he was able to photograph, even claim that he did. Remember, the original comet was said to be about 3.5 miles long by about 1.5 miles wide, approximately. But after the comet breaks up to at least 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, floating 50 miles away, 50 million miles away, folks, how can anybody with a telescope see anything? Okay. Now you're probably asking, what does Aaron know about telescopes? Well, let me tell you, folks. Okay. And that's going to surprise some of you. I own the identical telescope, folks. I own an 11-inch SCT Schmidt Sagan telescope made by Celestron. Quite a few companies make them. Meade, Bushnell, and a few other ones. But I own one, folks. The identical telescope. Cost me a fortune with all the eyepieces, including Barlow lens, okay? And believe me, I know how to use it. I've used it many times. Folks, let me tell you something. I can see the moon, the craters. I can see Mars. I can see Jupiter. But folks, at 15 million miles away, even if the comet was in one piece, 300 miles wide in the dark, folks, I couldn't see nothing. Okay? And if that comet broke apart to little pieces, folks, I definitely couldn't see anything. Okay? So what I'm saying here, the discovery was an amateur. The death of the comet was an amateur. So what I'm asking here, but no one from NASA, okay, from NASA, said it's disintegrated or it's gone. No one. So how about the head of NASA coming out saying Elenin is gone? That, I'm afraid, will never happen. However, the head of NASA did say something, but not what you expected. And I will get to it very, very shortly. And that will shock you. Okay, folks? What he said, it will shock you. It really will. Now, at the orbit of Elenin, it's a very strange orbit. It comes to our galaxy. It makes a sharp turn, not outside our galaxy, right in the middle of our galaxy. You check the internet to see I'm right.
You know, Richard Hoagland, I think he believes that it's under intelligent control.
Yes, you're right, Georgianne.
Ooh.
He's absolutely correct, and I will go through this in a few minutes.
Okay, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
No, you're right. No, it's fine. You're absolutely right. I'm just trying to build up some momentum here with our viewers.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the orbit of this comet is very strange. It's making a U-turn right inside our galaxy, okay? While our stars, Mercury, Venus, the Earth, Mars, Jupiter, are going around in a circle. Imagine the odds, okay, of this comet hitting one of our planets. They are enormous. It's like a playground full of children, play around in a circle, and a car coming in at high speeds, making a U-turn and going back for the kids. Somebody's going to get hit. But NASA is saying all is well. Now, one date, to give you an idea before I go on, September 27th, okay? On September 27th, the Sun, the Earth of Elenin, according to all calculations, was to align and cause some real problems. Now remember, think comet. Don't think anything else. Even if it's only a comet, something was going to happen. Because before anything else was discovered, you know what was supposed to happen on September 27th? Something very strange. What I'm going to read to you was special updates written September 16th, 2 a.m., Washington, D.C., okay? Here's how the article goes. Don't you think it's a little strange how all of a sudden there's no NASA coverage of Elenin? They themselves were putting out videos and photos of Elenin when it was way out in space. Now it's almost on top of us, and we're in NASA. Sources tell me the top staff is heading out to Denver on the 27th of September. I also heard that Obama and his family were made arrangements were made for them to be in Colorado too. Not only in Colorado, but at Denver Airport on the 27th. Now, did you folks read in the past about Denver Airport? It said that right underneath Denver Airport is a humongous deep underground base that goes down for miles and miles and miles. So what I'm saying is it a coincidence that Obama's family were originally scheduled to be there, and maybe still are, on the 27th of September, exactly on the day where the special alignment is supposed to take place? Kind of strange. More things. There was an unprecedented recall of all U.S. ambassadors to Washington. On February 7, 2011, in an unprecedented move, apparently that's never happened before, all U.S. ambassadors from all nations have been called back. 260 ambassadors from 180 countries are called back urgently and expected to convene at the State Department, where it's being billed as the first meeting of its kind to discuss monetary funds. Okay. And you remember the scandal that we had with the famous WikiLeaks?
Yes.
It happened at the same time. Okay. What did he know that it was going to reveal? But as you can see, folks, everything is being hushed up real nice. It's a beautiful act. It's a beautiful act. Not only that, FEMA, the United States Government of Homeland Security, is the Cabinet Department of the U.S. You know, its responsibility is to protect us. It was basically started on September 11th during that attack that we had on New York. And can we all forget the way they responded to that attack and also what happened in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina? But basically, that's FEMA's job. Now, here's the question. Why was FEMA hiring 50,000 security officers to a new Madrid earthquake exercise? Okay. On April 6, 2011, Nashville, Tennessee, all the recent storms we had, FEMA was told to hire 50,000 security officers, Georgianne.
Yeah.
Okay? They're still on the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
They're still on the payroll. But one more thing happened. They were also told to order over 100,000 waterproof body bags. I would dare to guess for what, okay?
Yeah.
I would dare to guess for what. Now, that's FEMA. So FEMA is supposed to protect us, okay? Now the word NASA, that stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Yes, and we all know what NASA is all about. Rocket ships, space missions, space shuttles, landing on the moon, etc., etc., etc. And that's NASA. Now, don't laugh. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's not funny. So before I start, explain to me why NASA is doing the work of FEMA, the dirty work. And you probably don't know what I mean. I'm going to tell you in 1 second. It's unbelievable. And just remember, start not to think of another movie that was made, Deep Impact, okay? Folks, I swear to God, what I'm going to read to you now, it's not funny. It's a real thing. Let me start. NASA preparing for outside threat, but for what? Comet Elenin or something else? NASA sent out a family personal preparation plan, Georgianne.
Mm-hmm.
An email to all employees.
Yeah.
Employees. You hear about that?
Yes.
Okay. So far I'm doing good, right, Georgianne?
Yeah.
So NASA is doing FEMA's dirty work. Why? They sent an email on June 6th, only a couple of months ago, to all its employees, warning them how to protect themselves during a disaster, to prepare water and food and radios and you name it. They're saying, watch out. Okay? That's by email. Okay? That's by email. But you know what followed the email? A video, folks, from NASA. A video. I'm going to quote. NASA preparing for outside threat. Again, for what? On June 10, 2011, NASA Administrator Charles Bolden himself appeared on the air. He sent out another warning by live TV video interview. Again, directed to all, especially to all NASA personnel. He didn't say the world, but to NASA personnel to prepare themselves for some kind of a disaster or outside threat. The words outside threat, last time I heard it, was made by Reagan. If you guys remember. What would happen if the world was threatened by an outside threat from space or whatever? He sounded the same. He called this warning as part of exercise Eagle Horizon and used some very scary words such as continuity of government. The word continuity of government, folks, is directly out of the movie Deep Impact. Am I right? Right or Jan, or wrong?
I couldn't hear the name of the movie.
Continuity of government. The movie was Deep Impact.
Yes, yes.
The president was also black.
Yes.
That's exactly what he used. Continuity of government. And he continued that this exercise is reasonable, not only for the people here on Earth, but also for this planet. Some of the natural disaster and attacks like 9/11, and his speech ended with these very scary and concerning words. Be prepared. Okay? He said, be prepared. His speech lasted 2 minutes and 37 seconds. So, folks, this warning comes coincidentally as Comet Elenin, believed to be on some kind of intelligent control now by some experts, continues on his path toward Earth. So, folks, here it is, the head of NASA warning the world instead of FEMA. The question is why? So we wouldn't get so scared, maybe? So again, it's very strange, while at the same time, we have total official NASA blackouts. They're not saying anything. So what's going on? Unbelievable. We heard that Russia is going to abandon the space station. And of course, all our satellites are grounded. SETI's off. Folks, at the same time, a coincidence? I don't think so. Now I know something's up. When the head of NASA, okay, makes a statement like this, folks, be careful. Be very careful. Especially when President Obama is scheduled to be in Denver Airport with an underground bunker that's, was built under the airports on the exact same day. All right? Something's definitely up. Now, that's NASA. Let's speak now about JPL. Okay? Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. There's an article written by John Parsons from JPL, September 1st, 2011. Only about 2 weeks ago. You have to listen to this, folks. This is a true article from JPL. And I just read the so-called article regarding this comet Elenin. It's breaking apart. And I find it odd that NASA JPL is still tracking it by its gravity. Folks, listen to this. They use the word gravity. JPL is still tracking Elenin by its gravity. So they say. They will not give the size or the shape, but they're tracking it by its gravity. And notice that it is creating more gravity in its location of last known orbital position. So if it was in fact self-destructed, then what is creating this increase in gravity, folks? Okay? Something is there. JPL is admitting something is there with enormous gravity. It's like a dark, dark hole. Not a black hole. a giant black mass. They will not say what it looks like or whatever it is, with enormous gravity. That was on September 1st. Okay? Again, I'm using the word gravity. You know why? Because, Jan, here comes the first bombshell, okay?
Okay.
That your show is going to beat any other show in existence, okay?
Okay.
So I put this together, okay? So JPL used the word gravity on September 1st. Now, guess what happened exactly on September 14th, okay? Now, if you remember in the past, President Obama stated a year ago, we're no longer going to the moon, correct? We're going to focus our vision on Mars and beyond. So no more moon missions of any sort. I believe I'm correct on that, okay? But, hold and behold, what happened on September 14th? Listen to this. You can check and verify it, everybody. Gravity check of the moon. What a coincidence. Now, I don't believe in coincidences. Sorry. And here it comes. NASA launches mission to study the moon from crust to core. To study its gravity, Jordan.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay?
Yeah.
Suddenly, NASA wants to study the moon's gravity. So they're launching a missile to the moon. Very similar to the stereo spacecraft. With cameras, okay? Now, Georgianne, am I crazy?
No.
All right?
Yeah.
Can I make this connection that nobody else did, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Cape Canaveral, Florida. NASA's twin lunar gravity recovery, okay, an interior laboratory called GRAIL spacecraft, you can check it, lifted off from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida at 9:08 a.m. EDT, okay, Saturday, September 10th.
That's a very unusual name for a spacecraft.
Yes, I was to say that, the GRAIL. Okay? So it was launched September 10th. Okay? It was launched. Exactly 9 days after JPL said that tracking the dead comet's gravity. Okay? So we launched on September 10th from Cape Canaveral that missile, that giant rocket called GRAIL. GRAIL is scheduled, listen to this, is scheduled to reach the moon on New Year's Eve.
Oh, my goodness.
What? What? Do you know what they say it'll reach the moon on New Year's Eve?
My goodness.
They're saying here they're trying to save energy, and they want the rocket is purposely to travel slower.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yes, and investigate, and meanwhile, the space between the Earth and the moon. You see?
Oh, gee.
Jordan, I'm not kidding you.
That's wild.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Okay? It reminds me of the lacrosse mission back in 2009 when we sent a giant rocket to the moon to make a hole in it to look for water.
Yeah. Oh.
Folks, listen. This is a bombshell that you didn't hear anywhere, not even coast to coast. I promise you that. This is super connection I just made between the GRAIL and the black hole, the gravity that JPL is now tracing in space, was supposed to be Comet Elenin, folks. It just couldn't be any better, Georgianne, okay?
Yeah.
This just cannot be any better. Are you impressed with the finding, Georgianne?
It's very interesting.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Now, let me say one more word before I start. But this one is going to be another bombshell, okay? Which you don't expect, okay? First, let me say the word, that abbreviation CME. It stands for Corona Mass Ejection. Corona Mass Ejection is a massive burst of solar wind. It's light isotope plasma magnetic fields that's rising above the solar corona, being released into space by the sun, okay? And all astronomers know coronal mass ejection strictly refers to the sun's super rays, the burst of energy, nothing else, okay? So let me tell you something, folks. You have no idea what's coming, okay? None. Some of the information that I'm going to read now you may have heard on other radio shows. You probably did if you listen to Coast to Coast. But I'm going to add something to it to put those people to shame. Not meaning to. Maybe they didn't get to it yet. Maybe they didn't do full research. But let's see how this goes, George Ann.
Okay.
But you have to listen to it really good. It's going to be another bombshell. Okay?
Okay.
And it's going to have to do with another rocket ship. Oh, yeah. But you have no idea what it's going to. Okay? Not in your dreams. The following article was written by Michael E. Sella, PhD, from a very famous organization, if you remember, that I mentioned some months ago. That's part of the U.S. It wants to break down the disinformation campaign to prove to the world that there are aliens in outer space. He basically also said that comet Elenin has begun disintegrating. It was hit direct by coronal mass ejection, CME, he said from the sun. He said that, from the sun, on August 19th, and soon began losing visibility, suggesting it was breaking up. Suggesting, okay? In contrast, respected science author Richard C. Hoagland claimed that an unmistakable tetrahedral energy shield was displayed by Elenin during the CME. So they're both using the same word, CME, confirming beyond any doubt that it is indeed an artificial structure. I agree with their statement completely, folks. It's an artificial structure, a spaceship. In the same article, the Extra News, it continues, the Hoagland claims and reports that Elenin was disintegrated a part of a disinformation campaign to distract the public away from Elenin's artificial nature and the world-changing message that it has for humanity. So, folks, we have Michael E. Sella from Extra News saying he was hit by CME on August 19th, and Richard C. Hoagland goes further that he said he claimed that as soon as Elenin was hit, it formed a giant shield around itself. He called it a gigantic tetrahedral shield. Many folks who have no idea what this word really means. Basically a triangle, a pyramid actually, okay? It's a pyramid that has four sides made of four equilateral triangles. Triangle has three sides, each side is the same size. And the base is square, again the same size, okay? Except one thing happened. Stick around. Listen to this. Aside from the apparent diminishing of luminosity and the alleged breakup of Elenin caused by the August 19 CME, something else has happened on that date, according to Richard Hoagland. An unmistakable energy shield appeared again, he writes. Okay? But listen to this. Richard Hoagland is not claiming, and I have no idea because I don't know the tools that he has or the sources, that the geometric force structure in the center that surrounds Elenin or whatever it is now measures more than 300,000 miles long, folks. Each side of a triangle measures over 300,000 miles. This distance, folks, is bigger than the distance from the Earth to the Moon, which is only 250,000 miles. All right? So, folks, number one, it is not a comet. It is something very, very artificial. It's controlled. And it's heading toward us. Okay? But again, remember what's important. The word CME. Okay? Now, for this definition could be wrong again. I may not have seen the same information they did. Just spent myself 5 nights, okay, on the internet, going to many, many sites, and I got to tell you something. I came up with something fantastic, okay? Something unbelievable. Now listen to this. Write down the dates and verify, Georgianne. You know that you're not going to beat me in this game, okay?
Yeah.
I'm very careful.
Yes.
Okay? That all happened on August 19th when the big triangle was formed. And they used the word CME. Fine. They claimed they saw a burst of energy and they called it CME. That's fine. I don't dispute that. But I will tell you what I saw happened between August 24th and August 27th. You better put your seatbelt on, Georgianne, okay? I'm serious.
Okay.
I was watching the screen 20 times over and over and over again from 4 other camera shots, okay? They were taken from the Sol camera, from the spacecraft stereo, BH1-1, okay? There were 2 stereo spacecraft, and each one has 4 cameras on it. The one I was watching was taken from BH1-1. Listen to this. August 24th at 3 a.m. A giant object appeared to the right of the screen, to the opposite side of the sun. Now, me looking at the screen with the blue image screen, to the extreme far left was the sun. In the center was Mercury. Then was a tiny object, which was supposed to be Elenin. Okay? And to the extreme far right, the dark shadow all the way in the background, was a very famous star, Jupiter. Okay? And almost right in front of Jupiter, out of nowhere, to the right side of the screen, to the right side, sun was sort of extreme left side, appeared out of nowhere, a super bright object, okay? Right almost in front of Jupiter. You can check it, Georgianne, yourself, you'll verify it. So, on August 24th, 3 a.m., a giant object appeared to the right side of the screen, the opposite side of the sun, in the direct area of Jupiter. About 12 hours later, at 2 p.m., in that afternoon of the 24th, the strange object began to increase in brightness. The next morning, on the 25th, about 5 a.m., this object got so bright that you knew something was going to give. Do you remember what happened in the movie 2010? The Russian guy with a beard went to a small spacecraft toward Jupiter, suddenly saw a very bright light, and some shot toward him and destroyed him? Okay. The same thing happened here, folks, but different proportions. Between 1:30 a.m. and 2:45 a.m. on the morning of August 26th, the strange object started to grow in size, sideways like a football, as big as a star, brighter and brighter and brighter. At about 5 p.m. on August 27th, the explosion took place of this object. The explosion was many times the size of Mercury. Elenin seemed to have been hit. By whom? We don't know. Unknown. What damage done? Unknown. Did the trajectory change? Unknown. All we know is right now still JPL is tracking it by its black gravity pull, okay?
Oh, my.
Yep. Again, Elenin definitely was not hit by one of the sun's so-called CMEs. I'm stating, folks, this time I'm going to back my reputation, folks, okay? Elenin definitely was not hit by one of the sun's so-called CMEs. It was not. But way from the opposite side of the comet, Elenin, the other side of the sun. Folks, this is fantastic. Now remember, Jupiter was right in the background, okay? You folks know why I'm mentioning the name Jupiter? I'm mentioning the movie 2010 Space Odyssey 2. You know why, Georgianne?
Why?
Here comes bombshell number 3, okay? Did you hear the name Juno? Juno?
Yeah.
You did?
No, I mean,
okay.
yeah, I'm...
Oh. Here's the shot, Georgianne. NASA's Juno spacecraft, solar-powered, was launched toward Jupiter from Cape Canaveral at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, August 5th. Exactly 3 weeks before that explosion took place. Right? The flight line of Jupiter, to begin a 5-year journey to explore the mysterious Jupiter. Do you believe that, Georgianne?
My goodness.
They already knew, Georgianne. Somebody knew, okay?
Yeah.
What was going to happen.
Oh.
3 weeks later, okay? So they were prepared. And they launched a spacecraft toward Jupiter. The spacecraft was called Juno, Juno, on August 5th, 12:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay? Now, the explosion of the so-called gamma ray or energy beam that looked like it Elenin did not come from the sun, folks. Not by CME. I'm sorry. I'm stressing it's a new show, Georgianne. Okay? It was not the CME. It came from the other side of Jupiter and the other side of the sun. And this spacecraft was launched only 3 weeks before the explosion, heading straight toward that location, Georgianne, toward Jupiter. Now, do you think I revealed enough today, Georgianne?
Oh, dear.
Nobody heard of that before, right, Georgianne?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
I dug in deep, okay? I do my work, as you know, Georgianne.
Yeah.
Okay? So, folks, what you heard on the Georgianne show today, you didn't hear anywhere, okay? It's a first. Next few days, I'm sure it's going to be verified on many other radio stations. Slowly, okay? And by the way, there's one more thing. It seems that somebody leaked out, it was called the NASA chat room. It was closed down, by the way, a few days ago. But before the NASA chat room was closed down, somebody released a new projection for the orbit of a so-called Elenin comet, Fibber comet, the original data. And it's supposed to impact, if it's a comet, it's supposed to impact on about November 22nd, somewhere between Alaska and the Soviet Union, okay, in the Barents Sea. It's supposed to impact. But that's only a chat room news release.
They said that part of a spacecraft was supposed to hit the Earth, but they also said they didn't know where it was going to hit the Earth. Right.
They're going to try to spread rumors. So whatever happens, they'll blame it. If it's a monkey, they say it's a gorilla, you know?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, Georgianne, I'm going to try to conclude this show today in a very nice message. I don't mean to step on anybody's toes. or accuse anybody of anything because I can be wrong myself. The reason why we reported those 2 seconds with the mission to the moon, with the gravity, and to Jupiter, Jojan, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Wow.
Okay?
Oh.
You're not going to hear me say, I know a friend of a friend who told me saw a UFO. I know a friend who saw green people on the ground. No. I don't do that. I did my own research, folks. And that's what I come up with. So, Jan, it's the first for you, okay?
Well, if this thing is under intelligent control, I think a lot of the apocalyptists would say that this could be the New Jerusalem that will descend.
Yeah, there are many interpretations, to what it could be. But again, even if it's intelligent control, it depends. Is it pre-programmed?
Yeah.
Or is someone intelligent actually following it and directing it? If it's pre-programmed, then we're dead, okay? But if it's actual under live intelligent control, then we have a chance. Who knows? It depends how you look at it.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens, Jojan. But right now, things are going to happen more and more and more. We're going to have more earthquakes, more stuff. I'm not going to get into this in this show.
Yeah, the Himalayas had a very large, strong earthquake.
Right. More and more and more out of nowhere. Each time the Earth makes its orbit around the sun, comes around, and approaches the comet, boom, something happens. Boom, something happens every time.
Yeah.
So you've got to be very careful, guys, from now on. And if something doesn't look right, and Richard Hogan was correct about the shape of this thing, it is huge. That's why JP Laboratory says they're now following a gigantic gravitational shaped pool. Okay, they will not say what it is.
Yeah.
So, Jan, with this, I will end my show. If you have any questions to ask me right now, I'll be glad to answer them.
Nope. That's you. I have to think about this. Oh my goodness.
I want everybody, including you, to check my data about the rocket ships I mentioned, about the missions, and you'll see I'm right on. It's amazing. It's shocking when I found out about it. The spacecraft to the moon to check the gravity suddenly. It'll take 3 months to get there because they won't take a detour, in space, And now their spaceship straight to Jupiter 3 before the explosion took place.
Yeah.
What? Hey, come on, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Joanne.
My goodness, everybody, you can go to the Byte Show, go to the audio library, click on Aaron Kaplan's name, and his page will open up with lots of links to the archives, the audio files that Aaron and I have worked on. And my goodness, there's a plethora of information there. So be good, and God bless everybody that's listening. Good night.
Yeah, good night, folks.